Dear students, as you know that we are learning market structure, and in this market structure we have learned different types of markets, different forms of markets such as perfect competition, monopolistic competition and monopoly. And in this lecture we are going to learn one more type of market, one more form of market known as oligopoly. Oligopoly, it is a type of market in which there are few sellers selling homogeneous or differentiated products. The definition of oligopoly market is a market, a type of market, a form of market in which there are few sellers selling homogeneous or differentiated products, or we can say differentiated goods. If they are selling homogeneous products, or we can say homogeneous goods, then it is known as pure oligopoly. Pure oligopoly. यह है डेफिनेशन ओलिगोपॉली की। एक मार्केट होता है जहां पे फ्यू सेलर्स होते हैं, या हम कह सकते हैं फ्यू फर्म्स जो होमोजीनियस या डिफरेंशिएटेड प्रोडक्ट्स बेचते हैं। अगर वो होमोजीनियस प्रोडक्ट्स या हम कह सकते हैं होमोजीनियस गुड्स बेचते हैं, सेल करते हैं, तो हम उसको कहते हैं प्योर ओलिगोपॉली। Therefore, if you are asked what is pure oligopoly, you will say that it is a oligopoly market in which few sellers are selling homogeneous products, homogeneous goods. Or you can also write it is a market where few sellers are selling homogeneous products. Now we will learn some features of oligopoly market. Features. Number 1, few, or we can write small number of sellers, or we can write small number of firms. This is the first feature of oligopoly market. Second feature is interdependence. Interdependence of decision making regarding determination of price and output. यहाँ पे वो आज़ादाना फैसला नहीं ले सकते हैं about price and output, how much price to be charged and how much out to be produced and sold. यहाँ पे interdependence होता है between the sellers, between the farmers. For example, if there are few sellers selling homogeneous product, they cannot charge different prices. They cannot take independent decisions to charge different prices because it will affect their sale, because when the product is homogeneous and on the other hand there are few sellers, small number of sellers, the customer will shift from one seller to other seller. In that case there will be loss to the seller, to the firm. In order to avoid their loss, in order to maximize their joint profits, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नफा कमाने के लिए वो जॉइंट डिसीजन लेते हैं अबाउट प्राइस एंड आउटपुट. वो इंडिपेंडेंट डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते हैं, आज़ादाना फैसला नहीं कर सकते हैं प्राइस और आउटपुट के बारे में. The reason is to avoid loss or to maximize joint profits. मकसद तो यही है, लॉस को कम करना और प्रॉफिट्स को ज्यादा से ज्यादा. And third feature of oligopoly market is barriers to entry. Barriers to entry, restrictions to entry, barriers, rukout. And the barriers of entry into market are: number one, the reason for barriers to entry in the oligopoly market are: number one, huge investment. A producer, a firm, a seller needs a huge amount of money for investment. For example, production of car, it needs a money in crores, a money in billions. Therefore, everyone cannot make investment of huge amount. Only few having such an amount can invest. When there are only few who can invest such huge amount of money, that means there are few producers, few sellers, and few sellers, few producers. It is a feature of oligopoly market. And there are other products which requires which needs huge investment, and everyone cannot make such investment. Only few are able to make that investment, and that few means oligopoly market, few sellers. Second barrier is strong consumer, strong customer loyalty to the product. For example, if we talk about cell phones, mobile phones, it is available under different brand names such as Redmi, Samsung, Nokia, etc. But some customers, they like only the product of Redmi. If the Samsung product is available at low price, still the customer will demand the product of Redmi because having loyalty towards this product. Others who like Samsung, they will not demand Redmi even if it is of having high quality, having good features, still they will demand Samsung because of strong consumer loyalty towards this product, Samsung product. Or for example, soaps, Lacus, Liril, Rexona, etc. Some consumers, they like only the soap under the brand name Lacus because due to some features like having unique smell, and if this product, that is soap under the brand name Liril, it is available with low price, having good features, still the consumer will demand Lacus soap because of strong consumer loyalty. He only likes the product of Lacus. Similarly, those who likes Liril soap, they will not demand Lacus. And therefore, those who want to do business in Liril, but because of strong loyalty, strong consumer loyalty towards Lacus, they cannot come into the market because the customers only like Lacus and he is going to invest in Liril. This only those will come in the market who will invest in Lacus, means only few will come in the market. That is the few sellers, that is the feature of oligopoly. This is the barrier to entry in the market because of strong consumer loyalty. And there are other examples of strong consumer loyalty towards particular product, such as if a product is shoe, it is available from Woodland, Adidas, and there is strong consumer loyalty towards a particular shoe, such as shoe made available by Woodland or by Adidas, Reebok, Campus. And those who like only Woodland, they will not demand product, the shoe from Adidas or from Campus, Reebok, and this leads few sellers in the market. Third cause of barrier to entry in the oligopoly market is resistance. Resistance by the established firms by the established firms by price cutting by price cutting, or we can say another barrier to entry in oligopoly market is low price charged by established firms. In order to avoid the entry of new firms, new sellers in the market, the established firms, the established oligopolists, they charge low price so that new customers, so that new firms, new sellers will not come in the market, because they fear that there will be loss in the market if they will invest in oligopoly market because of low price. And this low price is due to agreement between the firms, and the reason is to avoid the entry of new firms. जब प्राइस कम होगा मार्केट में, जो न्यू फर्म्स होंगे वो ये सोचेंगे कि वहां पे लॉस होगा, और नेचुरली वो इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे उस मार्केट में, वो एंटर नहीं होंगे उस मार्केट में. उस वजह से मार्केट में फ्यू सेलर्स रहेंगे, फ्यू फर्म्स रहेंगे, जिसको हम कहते हैं ओलिगोपोली मार्केट. और जो ये प्राइस लो होता है, ये होता है ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ एस्टेब्लिश्ड फर्म्स, ये डिलिबरेट एक्शन होता है. Now, what are the factors that leads to oligopoly market? Factors that leads to oligopoly market. Number one, huge capital investment. Huge capital investment. Huge capital investment. As I already told you that some products, in order to produce some products, the producer, the firm, the seller have to make huge investment. He has to invest huge amount of money, because the capital he requires in order to produce a particular product will be very expensive, will be available at very high price. For example, production of cars, production of cars, production of cars, production of cars, or electronic goods. Similarly, production of petroleum products and the products of aeroplanes. These requires huge investment in crores, thousands of crores, or in billions. Therefore, everyone is not in a position, every seller, every producer, every firm is not in a position to make such huge amount of investment. Only few are in position to make such huge amount of investment in capital that requires particular production of particular commodity. When there are few who are able to make such huge investment, then it is known as oligopoly market, because few is the few firms, few sellers is the feature of oligopoly market. And why there is oligopoly market? Why there is only few sellers? Because of huge capital investment in a production of particular commodities such as production of car, electronic goods, etc. Second factor that leads to oligopoly market is merger and takeover. Merger and takeover. Of firms, of sellers. First, I will define merger. Suppose if there are A, B, C, D, E, and F sellers, F, A, B, C, D, E, and F firms in the market, mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, mean there are 6 sellers, 6 firms in the market. Due to some reason, such as low profits or due to low demand of a product, some firms will merge in order to maximize their joint profits. For example, A and B, they will merge. They will form only one firm, only one seller, A, B. Similarly, if E and F firms will merge each other in order to maximize their joint profits, in order to maximize their sales, they will become EF, only one firm, only one seller, because they have merged. Now, there remains 1, 2, and 3 firms. From 6 firms, it have reduced to 3 firms. 3 sellers, means few. This is how oligopoly market is formed. And second one is takeover. This was the example of merger, takeover. Suppose if there are A, B, C, and D firms, means 4 firms in the market. If B is in loss or having low demand, he wants to exit in the market, he will sell his market share, he will sell his products to the firm A. Now there remains only 3 firms, 3 sellers, A, C, and D, because B has been taken by A. It has sold its all shares to firm A, and we have exited in the market, and there remains only 3 sellers, 3 firms. And such a process leads to few sellers in the market. When there are a large number of sellers, and due to merger and takeover, there remains few sellers, few firms in the market, and few sellers is the feature of oligopoly market. Third factor that leads to oligopoly market is economies of scale. Economies of scale. Economies of scale. These are the cost reducing factors available to a firm, available to a producer. These are the facilities available to a firm, available to a seller. that reduces cost of production, such as efficient management that reduces cost of production. Skilled laborers that also reduce cost of production, or low transportation cost. Etc. These are some examples of economies of scale that reduces the cost of production of a firm, of a seller. And everyone have not the ability of economies of scale. Only few have economies of scale, and only those can enter in the market, only those can exist in the market, survive in the market. Means few are able to survive in the market, to enter in the market, because of having economies of scale that reduce their cost of production, that makes them to compete with the other firms, to overcome with the other firms. One more factor that leads to oligopoly market is control over raw material. Control over raw material. A particular product needs a particular type of raw material, and only those having availability of that raw material can produce that particular product. Everyone cannot produce that product because of lack of raw material, and those who have the control over that particular raw material, such as production of diamond, those having the availability of raw material, having the control over that raw material, can produce diamond. Everyone cannot produce that product. It means few can produce. This also leads to oligopoly type of market. And last factor that leads to oligopoly market is patent rights. Patent rights. Patent rights are rights granted by government to an innovator to produce particular product, or to use specific technique of production for a particular period of time. These are the rights, हुकूक, जो गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट करता है किसी पर्टिकुलर innovator को. Innovator is a person who gives some new idea about the production of particular commodity, and there is a department in every government who registers these ideas given by an innovator, and then they grants them a rights such as license to produce that particular product to use specific technique for a particular period of time. इसके लिए एक टाइम लिमिट होता है, and only those who are granted patent rights can produce that particular product. Means few, everyone will not have patent rights. Only few will have patent rights, and no other can imitate, no other can copy that product, because that is illegal. Therefore, there will be only few sellers, few producers of a particular product, which is the feature of oligopoly market. Now, one more point to remember is the term duopoly. This is a limiting case of oligopoly. Duopoly is a market in which there are two sellers. In a market, if there is one seller, then it is known as monopoly. If there are two sellers, then it is known as duopoly, and it is the limiting case of oligopoly market. In oligopoly, you have to also remember the term, the concept of cartels. Cartels, it is a formal or informal agreement. Informal agreement between sellers, or we can say between firms, regarding determination of price and output. In order to maximize their joint profits, and second reason is to restrict the entry of new firms, new sellers. एक एग्रीमेंट तो होता है फर्म्स के दरमियान, सेलर्स के दरमियान, वो फॉर्मल भी हो सकता है, इनफॉर्मल भी हो सकता है, प्राइस और आउटपुट के बारे में। उसका जो रीजन होता है वो ये होता है कि मैक्सिमाइज देयर जॉइंट प्रॉफिट्स, हर एक का प्रॉफिट्स को इंक्रीज करना और रेस्ट्रिक्ट करना है जो न्यू सेलर्स, न्यू फर्मर्स, ताकि वो इंटर नहीं हो सकते हैं मार्केट में। जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया, लो प्राइस चार्ज करते हैं, उसकी वजह से न्यू फर्म्स इंटर नहीं होते हैं मार्केट में, क्योंकि उनका लॉस होगा। वहाँ पे फ्यू सेलर्स होते हैं। दिस इज नोन एज द कार्टेल। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, OPEC